Oh man, that looks good, man. Are we live?
We are live. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
we're
you
live. It
mean we're
looks like
on
we're
right
live.
now?
Yeah, we're on, man.
Take it away, man. This is your channel, brother.
Agreed. First, I want to say hello to everyone that jumped over from Rudy's channel, Alaska Prepper. Thank you so much, Rudy, for shouting me out and whatnot, and introducing the folks that we're going to be doing here in the future in regards to our collaboration. Basically, it's not my show, it's not Rudy's show, it's our show, so it should be a lot of
Yes.
fun. You kind of gave everybody a breakdown. I don't know if I should repeat that in regards to how we're doing it, because I mean, maybe there's some folks that
Yeah,
don't
yeah. Just in case
put on
somebody
there.
showed up that wasn't on my live stream.
All
Absolutely.
right, so as for you folks, this is going to be a little bit redundant, but for the folks that are that weren't on Rudy's live stream just a few minutes ago, what Rudy and I are doing is we've been thinking about this probably for a year, right? It's been at least probably a dang year that we've been talking about
Yeah,
this.
it's been a while that we've been actually talking about it.
Yeah. We get on the phone and we just talk. It'll be half hour. My wife says I'm lying, and she was watching Rudy talk about it. She's like, "No, you guys are like more like 2 hours." And, and I was like, "Oh, maybe," you know what I mean? And we always get into these great conversations, and we had always discussed maybe we should just do like a podcast or something like that. And then we just been thinking about doing this for a while. And then Rudy called me up a couple of weeks ago. I was like, "Hey man, I'm tired of waiting. Let's do it." So we've decided to do this. It'll be it's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays, my time. And I forget what time it is over there in your time. I know it's a lot, 4 hours earlier than that. So what is that?
Is it 10 a.m. Eastern your time on Sundays?
6 a.m. Alaska time, right?
It'll be like 6 a.m. my time. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
So
fine.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Alaska time. And then 10 a.m. my time every Sunday. Well, we've been talking about doing it every Sunday. This Sunday, we are going to skip it. I'll talk about that a little bit of why towards the end of the live stream. There's a couple announcements I'm going to make. I want to make a huge announcement towards the end of this live stream. So stay tuned, folks. I'm excited about this. And then, like I said, I got another announcement to make, but we'll save that for the end. What we're going to do is we're going to be talking about stuff that just pops up in the headlines every week. Sometimes it may relate to certain things. It could be stuff in the news. It could be things that we've discussed. Basically, I'm going to be surprising Rudy with some of these topics. So Rudy's not going to have a clue some of the things that I pulled out of the headlines that I'm going to throw at him. And he's just kind of going to go off the cuff with it. So it should be a lot of fun. It's not scripted. It's just right off the cuff. And we should interact with you, our viewers, in regards to the way we're going to be discussing things. Sometimes we might get carried away. We might not see everything in the chat. So we do apologize, but we'll try to do some Q&A as we get through some of the things that we're doing here live. All right. So I wanted to say hello to some of the folks. First, I want to thank all the mods. I see Yarn, Jan, JT. I saw Miss Worm in the house, who's a special guest, as always, when Miss Worm pops into our live streams, or at least mine. And she's an honorary moderator here. I'm trying to see if I see any other mods in here, but thank you guys for being here, as well as all you new folks. Again, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to come over and check out the channel and hang with us. We'll be bouncing from my channel to Rudy's channel every other Sunday. Possibly it might be every other 2 Sundays. It depends on what you, the viewers, want. If you guys want more of it, then we'll probably do it every Sunday, unless say special thing goes on. What you doing? I see you doing something over there.
I was showing everyone that I was giving your live stream a like.
Oh, nice.
I opened it up on my phone and I give it a like.
I'm trying to think of anything else I wanted to cover that. So we'll be using the same thumbnail for a while so that you guys can get used to it. The only thing to be changing is episode 1, episode 2. And most likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a playlist. So for people that want to go back and see that, it'll just be, I'll label it the show name, and it'll be a playlist. When we're on Rudy's channel, I'll link it over to the playlist as well, because I can add other channels to that. So it should be fun. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I think we got pretty good chemistry, right, brother?
Yeah, man. We can chat it away.
All right. So I see Tinkerman, Stormweather, Dee's Craft, Elsie in Florida, Teresa D, Rick Massey, Oki Khan, the Alchemist. Who else is here? Bounce around a little bit. James Peach, Sunset Gazing, Oki Khan, Forrest, good to see you. Let me see. Jennifer Cruz, always good to see you as well. Yeah, and A Hobbit, Hill Summit. What's up? How are you doing? All the way from Australia. What time is it in Australia, Hill Summit? Let me see. Ann Edwards, Fran Moyer, McBean's in the house. Good to see you, McBean. And everyone else. Thank you. I see Disabled and Prepping here too. Anybody else you want to give an extra shout out to, brother?
No, because if we do this, we're gonna be here forever.
Agreed, agreed. And we only have an
We'll
hour.
be here like 45 minutes in saying hello.
So what I'm going to do is I got some stuff that I want to share on the screen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a article up, but we're not going to stay stuck on it. Basically, I'm going to give Rudy basically a talking point, and then we'll go from there. The first thing I want to talk about, because me and you had discussed this a little bit not too long ago, and it's something that might happen because of what's happening overseas. So let me find what I'm looking for. I think that's it there, and I'll bring it up.
Hey,
So,
man, are you gonna be talking about gloom and doom?
of course, we're prepper channels, man. Of course, the world is ending tomorrow, folks.
I told you,
The
man, no
world is
fear
ending
mongering, all
tomorrow.
right? Stop your fear mongering, all right? Stop peddling fear.
I know, right? I get that so much sometimes. And I said, I'm just doing a prepper haul. What is that? What am I fear mongering about? I'm just trying to get some food for the family and for emergencies.
Oh,
But
you darn hoarders.
agreed. We get called all different kinds of names, man. But it is. Luckily, you got to have thick skin to be on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? All right. So here we go, brother. You ready for this?
Yeah, man. Let's do this, man.
All right. Here's your first talking point.
What are we going to normally run these? About an hour or so?
About an hour. Well, Sundays we have a little bit more flexibility. Tuesday, because pinball starts 8 o'clock, and don't want to, kind of go into his
we'll
time
just
slot.
do whatever, man. Whatever feels right, we'll do whatever feels right. This is really not very scripted. This is not scripted at all, actually, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, on Sundays, whatever happens, happens. So that'll be the thing. So can you see that all right there, brother?
Yeah, man. World Bank warns that oil price could soar to a record $150 a barrel. I think that depending on the circumstance, that $150 a barrel would be on the low side. I think that if we get into some kind of a heavy duty engagement in the Middle East, whether it turns out to be a world war or not, I think that the Straits of Hormuz is one of those areas that's strategic to oil exports around the world, not just for the U.S., around the world. I mean, a lot of OPEC oil leaves through there. So if something happens in that area and it gets shut down, ladies and gentlemen, you better hope that you're prepared. And if you're not prepared, you better hope that you will have had preserved your dollars and something that's not going to allow that wealth to be diminished. Because I think that the price of everything is going to skyrocket. And not only that, I mean, the thing is it's multifaceted. And I think I touched on this a little bit on my live stream that we just left. But if something like that happens with oil, again, we have to think about the repercussions that we would have with countries that we depend on, that we get stuff from, that don't like us. For example, I believe that President Biden just made some kind of a deal with Venezuela to get oil from them. So if something happens with Iran, with Russia, who are very big allies of Venezuela, do you really think that Venezuela is going to continue to send us oil? Do you really think that China is going to continue to send us medicines, prescription medications, rare earth metals, lithium, all of the things that we depend on China to send us? Are we going to be able to get it even from countries that want to send it to us? How safe are the seas going to be for transport? So something like this goes off in the Middle East, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to change a lot of things about how we live our lives on a regular basis. And I do see rationing coming back. And if it's not rationing via the government, it'll be rationing by the stores themselves, because they're just not going to have the merchandise to be able to sell like they normally sell right now. We don't really realize how big a consumers we are. We live in a consumer based culture. We have a consumerism culture, and we really don't realize that very much day to day until we run out of something. So, and that's what being prepared is about. Being prepared is not about waiting to the last minute and then going out there and panic buying and then hitting grandma over the head with a big sausage or with a pound of hamburger or toilet paper. It's about having the stuff that you need before those things happen, so you can see it unfold in front of your eyes instead of having to be part of it. So that's what preparing is for. But yeah, if oil goes up to 150, just consider every single thing in your life is going to get a lot more expensive. Everything, not just gasoline. When people think about, oh my goodness, the price of oil is going to double. No, it's not the price of oil is going to double. That's going to make gasoline go up. It's going to make everything go up. We have to remember, and especially these people in the green camp, you have to remember that biofuels, fossil fuels, whatever you want to call it, oil is the economy. Without oil, there is no economy. There's not enough solar panels in the world that can do what oil and natural gas and those things do.
Agreed. And I went on a mini rant on the last live stream I did about how much things that we import from China specifically, and I also touched on Russia and India and stuff like that. And it's unbelievable the amount outside of just medications, how important those medications are. It's just all our consumer goods and all the electronics and, like you said, solar panels, power stations. It's just a lot of things that we depend on come from other countries. And a lot of people always ask that question. Well, hey, why don't we just make it here? Well, back when Nixon shipped everything over there and all the damage we've done, it'll take decades to get everything back up and running here. How much
very
damage
long
could that
time?
Yeah.
Very
So
long
it's just
time.
it's not going to happen overnight like that. People have that mind process like it's not. It just won't happen. And it's like you said, oil is the lifeblood of the world. You know, it runs everything, because if you look at the price of oil, then it called, when it's transitioned into gas, well, the trucks that drive the food and all the supplies and the ships and everything else it runs everything. So everything's going to go up. So it's a very scary fact that if we look at 40 years ago, as history likes to repeat itself, there was a big gas crisis because of what was going on in the same region 40 years ago. So we're looking at something new. I saw someone on your live chat talked about the Houthis, or however you say their name, Yemen, declaring war on Israel. Houthis. I heard the Egyptian president make some statements recently. Jordan, it's all around that area.
I think there's going to be a kinetic war, man. I think there is, especially if you have Turkey. Erdogan, is it? That's his name?
You've heard his statements.
I mean, that if he's going to be on the side that's opposite the U.S., there's going to be a war. There's going to be a war. I don't see any way out of it. I mean, I really hope 150% that I'm 100% wrong. But just me knowing that guy from Turkey, Erdogan, I think is his name, just me knowing that he's siding with Iran, that there's going to be a war over there, and it's going to be a long-lasting war. And I just don't think that the United States is in a place where we can actually support going to war, because we don't even have enough ammunition to keep Ukraine supplied with what they need. What makes anyone think that we're going to have enough to keep ourselves supplied to be fighting halfway around the world? And then does that not kind of like leave us open to outside forces coming here and causing havoc here? One of our saving graces, believe it or not, for those people that are anti-Second Amendment, is the Second Amendment. You have to understand this, ladies and gentlemen, during a time in our history where our government wants to disarm us, other governments, i.e. Israel, is arming their citizens because they were attacked. And here we have a southern border that is so porous that you can very plausibly say that we are currently being attacked as well. But our government doesn't say it that way. They say that a firearm is the devil. And of course, to them it is, because it is that one tool that keeps them from doing to us what they want to do to us. They do a lot of bad things to us, we the people, now as it is, using law. Using the law and using fiat currency. They get away with a lot, but they'll never get away with everything they want to get away with as long as we have our Second Amendment and we keep it.
Well, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you've ever done this or not. I did a scientific experiment. So I took my EDC weapon off at night and I put it, in arm's reach on my nightstand. I sat it down and I told it, I said, man, don't go anywhere and don't kill anybody. So I set my alarm. I put my motion detection system on.
You didn't put it in the safe and lock it up?
No, I didn't lock it up or nothing. Man. I was taking a risk. So I let it there, and believe it or not, when I woke up in the morning, it was still there. It didn't get up. It didn't kill
Wow,
anybody. It didn't do nothing.
it's amazing.
And
It's
that
amazing.
what blows my mind is people don't understand. It's a tool. It takes a
Absolutely.
person. It takes a person to pick up that tool and use it. Just if I was to use a hammer, a knife, or whatever other thing that you can utilize as a weapon to harm someone. It's not the tool that they have to worry about. It's the
Well,
person
if
behind that tool.
if the average person would just think about this a little bit, they could see how disingenuous the government is when they come out. What is this Harris lady, the
Mm,
vice
yeah.
president, coming out and saying that we need to get rid of semi-automatics or get? I'm like, are you crazy? But if the average person just takes a look at just some simple data that the government is privy to because it comes from them, and then ask themselves, are these guys really genuine and that they care so much about people that they want to disarm them? How many people die every year in the United States of America due to overdoses of drugs that come through our southern border? Do you know what that number is, Gray?
The amount of drugs.
How
I mean,
many
I know
people
it's in the
die in the United
metric
States? How
ton.
many people expire in the United
Oh,
States every year from the drugs
so
that come from the southern border?
I don't know the exact number, but I do. I am friends with some folks in law enforcement and the sheriff department, as well as some of my military friends and whatnot. And they said so far this year alone, they've recovered enough fentanyl to kill pretty much everybody on this planet coming from just our
Yeah.
southern border. Everyone on this
Well,
planet.
Well, last year in 2022, I believe, you can fact check me on this if you want. I believe it was about 107,000 Americans in 2022 that overdosed
Wow.
on drugs that came through our southern border. 107,000. That is almost two Vietnams. Think about that. That is almost two Vietnams of people that died in 1 year. How many people die from uh, wounds that come from a firearm? How many people die last year?
I want
Around
to,
47,000 or so. Less
but
than half of that.
with that number though, you have to
I
remove.
know
Here's
you have to take out the suicides.
bingo. Yes.
From that 47,000, about 26,000 are suicides. So you got 21,000. From that 21,000, you have to deduct the number that were by police officers, which is
Hmm.
maybe 1,000 or so. Then you have to deduct the number that was from gang members on each other. So really, the number of people that use firearms to hurt someone else, after you take all
Hmm.
those numbers out, are maybe 1/5 to 1/6 the number of people that died because of drugs coming through our southern border. And that's not accounting the number of homicides or murders that occurred from criminals coming through the
Hmm.
southern border that have been ejected from the country once and they came in again because they're so porous. That's not counting any of that kind of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are against owning firearms for self defense, you have to understand that on an annual basis, more people die from fists and bats and knives than die from
Hmm.
firearms. So when the government sits up there and they tell you, anyone from the government, and they tell you taking away your guns is because we want to make it safer for you, they are telling you the exact same thing that the little man with the black mustache told all those people almost 80 years ago or so. They're telling you the same thing that he told them to disarm them. And then you know what happened after that? It's called democide. And in a way, that democide that happened in Germany 80 or so years ago, that was one of the smaller numbers, believe it or not. I think it was like 9 or 15 million people altogether. That was one of the
Hmm.
smaller numbers. Think about what happened during Mao's China, where the Chinese were the only people that didn't have firearms and had to do everything that they were told to do by their dictator, by their tyrant dictator. Why? Because they had the firearms. Their police officers, their army, they had the firearms. And then you end up losing 80 million people in a span of about, I don't know, a decade or so because of the policies that this tyrant followed. So when they stand up there and they tell you we have to take away your guns because it's for your safety, they are using the exact same words that all of these tyrants from the past used, that caused the demise of hundreds, not 100, not 200, but almost 300 million people in the last century.
You know, it's when I watched what happened, I think was it October 7th, what happened in Israel. I think that's when that went down.
Yeah.
And a lot of people here in the United States, they have, let's say they have I'm gonna throw just a random thing out there, a Glock 19, and they feel safe with that Glock 19, that their sidearm. The thing is some of those folks, they did have a handgun. The thing is when
Yeah.
you are looking at someone that someone that's coming into, let's say, come at you, you have to meet that with equal force. You know, so that's why I feel
More
it's pertinent
with
that everyone
superior
should have,
force.
everyone should have either some sort of AR-10, AR-15, AK, whatever that you find convenient for it as a long gun or a rifle. I think everyone should
Machete,
have
yeah.
that. Yeah, you got to have something to meet that force because if you've ever used a handgun in a certain manner, it has stopping power, but a lot of folks don't understand that a long gun or a rifle, specifically, let's say an AR, with the proper ammunition, is going to do a lot more damage and a lot more stopping power than a simple handgun. So I feel that folks, a lot of people are like, well, I can't afford it. Well, I mean, I've seen ARs as low as $300 or $400 at this point.
Yeah.
It's like you better grab them before they go back up to $2,000. You know,
Or you know
because
what,
that's a
Gray?
steal.
You know what? If you really want to get an inexpensive firearm, let's say you can't afford it. Let's say you can't afford $400, because you also have to think about the ammunition. You're gonna have to spend another $500 to $1,000 on ammo. So let's say you just can't afford it. Man, I always tell people if you could only buy one firearm, buy a shotgun. Buy a decent. My favorite shotgun is my cheapest one. It's a Savage that's like 15 years old that I paid $225 for. I love shooting that thing. It's very accurate. It's never jammed once. But with a shotgun, you have the availability of getting different types of ammunition. So you can
Right.
get double aught buck, you can get birdshot, you can get 8, 7.5, 6, 4, right? You can get slugs. So you can use it for different things. You know, it's a multi-purpose firearm, and I think it's, in my opinion, all right, it's the best for home protection. A shotgun is, because it's going to allow you to not have to aim and just point. With a shotgun, you don't have to aim; you just point and shoot. And in my opinion, it's the best for home protection. But get the very best that you can, and whatever it is that you get, make sure that you train with it. Make sure that you understand and know how to service it, because the thing is that you never know when you're going to use it. You never know. I've never changed a flat tire on my truck. I've never ever changed one since I bought it, but I still have a spare tire, and I have a jack and a wrench to take the lug nuts off.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that anyone here, anyone on the chats right now, anyone watching this right now, I guarantee you that if you have a vehicle, I would say 99% chance that you have a spare tire in that vehicle. And more than likely, you probably never had to change that spare tire because you never got a flat. Because most people don't get flats. I've never gotten a flat in my entire life, but I've always had a spare tire. It's the
It's
same
better.
thing.
It's better to have and not need it than need it than not have it.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. You know.
All right. So I think we went down a couple different routes with that. You know what I
That's
mean?
what always happens, man. That's what always happens.
I mean, because I do overkill, so I pull like 5 or 6 different things just in case we run through it quick. But I figure, we can always save things down the road. But I like to grab different things and kind of play around with it. So I wanted to whoops, let me go here. What did I do? Oh, there we go. And this is what I love about live streams. They're so unexpected. But I think you had touched on this, and we might have even had a conversation about this, but this is also something that's been going on as we've been talking about, can people afford firearms? Can people afford food? Can people afford gas? And right here, man, this is something that's affecting a lot of people.
I think I talked about that during yesterday's video on my
really?
channel. Yeah, well, I mean, the numbers don't lie, and most Americans are in need. Most, if I remember the numbers correctly, I might be off on my percentages, 1 or 2 here or there, but I believe it's 60 plus or 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And even people that are making six figures, I think about 43% of Americans that are earning six figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. And uh, and I think it's about 63% of Americans don't even have $400 in a bank for an emergency. So yeah, people are in despair right now, and it's why I've often said that the government is going to use whatever next big event occurs in order to usher in a CBDC, because so many Americans right now are barely making it. That when it comes time to have democracy, they're going to democratize themselves into a CBDC. Because most
Right.
Americans are going to say, "Yeah, give me that CBDC." You're telling me that you're going to take away the pain? You're going to take away the pain, Mr. Government? Please give me that CBDC. Or you're going to give me a UBI, and I'm not going to have to worry about getting money for food for my kids. Please give me that CBDC. Not knowing that in the end, it's just a tool that is going to be used to enslave us even more than what we are enslaved now. And unfortunately, a fiat currency monetary system is a tool that the government uses in order to enslave the people, right? A lot of people just don't understand this, and money is at the root of the power of government. When the government has to deal with real money, with gold and silver, when they have to deal with real money, something that you cannot create out of thin air, we, the people, have the power, because they cannot spend more than what we allow them to spend, ladies and gentlemen. It's just simple. Why do you
Hmm.
think that God put gold and silver on the earth? It's God's money, gold and silver. You hear it all the time. But the reason that God put gold and silver on the earth is a couple of reasons. Number one, because he understood that we need a way to exchange value. We humans need a way to exchange value with one another, because no matter how good a person you are, you will not work for free. And every time I say that, Gray, I always get somebody saying, I volunteer. But in all honesty, it's because the person that grows the potatoes in Idaho will not be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and working a 16-hour day so that you can get your potatoes for free. They're going to expect to get value back for the value that they put into their operation of growing potatoes. Same thing with the ranchers in Texas that grow tasty beef so that you can have that nice ribeye. They are going to expect value and trade for value. Well, God said, man, let me go ahead and put some gold and silver on the earth so that they can have something to exchange value with, all right? That is a fair and honest system, because you don't have to trust gold or silver. You don't have to trust that it's going to get you something because the value is within it.
Right.
But you do have to trust fiat currency. You have to trust, ladies and gentlemen, that tomorrow that dollar bill that you earned today is going to have the same value that it had when you earned it. You have to trust that, right? You don't have a choice. But with gold and silver, all of the value that's in it, it's already in it. It's already been worked through. It's been earned into existence. All right, as far as it being mined and what you call it, um, purified, and put
Hmm.
into an actual coin form. So you don't have to trust that money. But the money changers, you remember those money changers that Jesus said, "Hey, what the heck are you guys doing?" And he started throwing all of their
Yeah.
money over because they were screwing over the people. That's what they were doing. The money changers of today are ones that took God's money and threw it aside, and they created their own gold and silver called fiat currency.
Hmm.
You see, I've stated this before, but maybe in the hopes that there's someone here who's never heard me say this, uh, uh, I'll say it again. When it says that one day people will be throwing or casting their gold and silver onto the streets, they weren't talking about this. They weren't talking about God's money. They were saying they, who is they? The money changers. What are the money changers going to be doing? They will be throwing their gold and silver onto the streets.
Hmm.
What is their gold and silver? What is the gold and silver for the money changers? It's the gold and silver, the money that they created, aside from God's money. So one day they will be throwing their gold and silver onto the streets because it's not God's money. They created it out of nothing, out of thin air. They created it out of stealing your wealth. So that's why you have to protect yourselves. I'm not a financial advisor. I have to say that because I'm on the internet, but I recommend, if I were to recommend, that you protect yourselves, whatever excess wealth you have, with gold and silver, because it will retain its purchasing power over time. I did a video here. I don't know if you saw it, Gray. Probably about 3 weeks to a month ago or so, where I showed that in 2018, 5 years ago, 1 ounce of gold was $1,283. 5 years ago, January 1st of 2018, 1 ounce of gold was $1,283. And then if you take that ounce of gold today, which is roughly $2,000, you're looking at a 55% increase in the price of gold between 2018 and today. Meaning that if you purchased an ounce of gold in 2018, that means that today that gold is about 55% more nominally valued than it was in 2018. Do you think that that would have kept up with inflation over the last 5 years, 55%?
Not
I
at
would
all.
say that. Well, for most things, yes.
Well,
For
you're
most
talking about
things.
you're talking about the fiat currency. You're talking about the actual precious metal.
No, the actual. So in 2018, an ounce of gold was $1,283.
Okay.
Today, an ounce of gold, 5 years later, an ounce of gold is $2,000. That's
Okay.
about 55, 56% more than what
Oh,
it
to keep
was
up
in
with inflation.
2018.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
So gold in the last 5 years has done exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to retain your purchasing power. That's what it's done, ladies and gentlemen. So, in my opinion, we need to protect ourselves with our excess wealth. Anything that you have in excess of what you need to live, and or be prepared for something that may happen where gold and silver won't help you, because you can eat gold and silver, but it's not going to really give you a lot of nutrition that you need.
Thanks, Eric.
Eric's like, we both have silver beards.
And I can add one thing to that. Right now, in 1964, if you had a Roosevelt dime, which where
Yep.
money actually had some value, then it's worth at current price right now, it's probably worth about $1.54. Face value 10 cents, but it's the silver content in that dime in 1964. If you would have got it, if you have a dime from 1964 and you have it right now, face value is still 10 cents, but silver wise, it's worth $1.54. To me, that's a huge
15
come up.
times more. Yep, about
Yeah.
15 times X, which is about right.
So you had mentioned you were talking a little bit about food. I like to talk about food on my channel because we need food and water and certain things to survive. You know what I mean? Food is real key. And a lot of people will look at us when we say food shortage inbound, food scarcity, food insecurity, and they think that sometimes that we drum this stuff up. But I want to show you something real fast that
Not at all.
it's not. I mean, it's a pattern. It's cycles, like you had stated in the past on this article right here. You can see where it says
The thing about that, Gray, is the people that don't understand where we're coming from when we say food shortages, right? And that's what I mainly say, food shortage, is that those people that call us fear mongers for that are very, very lucky. That's what they don't understand. They're very lucky to be able to say, man, you guys are just fear mongering. There's no food shortage. For them, there's no food shortage. Why?
Right.
Because they can afford it. Okay. I just went to Costco, and I'm actually going to do a payday prep video tomorrow. But I went to Costco and I did a little payday prep. And if those of you that are here from the AP channel, you'll know that I've been talking about this olive oil from Costco for like the last 3 years. This olive oil that comes in the 3-liter bottles, and it comes in a pack of 2. About 3 years ago, when Costco first got there, that olive oil was $19 and change. And for about the last 2 years, I've been screaming, get your oils now. Olive oil is going to double in price at least. That olive oil, when I went to Costco, was, I think, $47. All right. From $19 to, I think, like $47. So
that's crazy.
So the rice that I used to get, because I don't eat rice anymore, but the rice that I used to get when I first started buying it, it was like $24 a 50-pounder. It just went over $40. The first time I've ever seen it over $40 for the exact same rice.
That's
$40.99, I think it was. It went from from about 24 bucks when I first started getting it's that Calrose rice. So it's the
Hmm.
one that's a little more expensive. But when I first started getting it, I remember long grain rice, a 50-pound bag was like 17 bucks or 16 bucks. And that rice was like $24. Now it just went over 40 for the first time that I've seen it. So those people that are saying there's no food shortage, there's food everywhere. Well, look at the price of food. The price of
Exactly.
something is conducive to its availability, to its
Correct.
supply. The lower the supply, the higher the price. And only because you can afford to buy it at that price, it doesn't mean that everyone else can. I mean, the
Right.
median home income or the average income in the United States per person, not per family, is like $36,000 a year. Try to go buy yourself a $47 two-pack of olive oil when you're making 36 grand a year before taxes. All right, before taxes. You're not going to be able to afford that. You're going to end up using the seed oil, canola oil, or corn oil, or whatever other vegetable oil that you still pay a double the price than what you used to pay last year. Because last year it used to be about $6 or $7. Now it's about $13.99. You're still paying twice as much, but it's still a lot less than that olive oil. So tell that person that there's no shortage. There definitely is a shortage for them because they can't afford it. Now let's take it outside of our borders. You better believe that outside of our borders in all of these other poor countries that they are not worried about global warming. Trust me, that's the last thing they're worried about. They're worried about how am I going to get something to eat tomorrow? That's what they're worried
Exactly.
about. So what we see here in our country is 100% different than what's going on in other countries, but I really believe that what we're seeing now in the form of price increases and high prices that we will see tomorrow and in the coming years in the form of scarcity. There will eventually be scarcity here in our country. Right? We just haven't seen that yet. And for those people that complain about the message, those people are going to be very sorry one day when they look back and say, I had a chance, an opportunity to get prepared, but I didn't because I just thought that this old man with a silver beard was crazy. But but you know what? In the human experience, people have to die. There's going to be die-offs, and people are going to have to die for whatever reason it is. And that's going to be one of the reasons why people expire.
Agreed. And have you heard? And I know you're like me. We're always digging and looking around the web and researching things. Have you heard of an order? It's called Order 14067.
That's not the CBDC one, is it?
This is what the current president signed, and I kind of want to bring it up just because I was curious of your thoughts on it. It says March 9th will live in infamy.
Oh,
It said,
yeah, that's the CBDC one, isn't it? Isn't that the one that the order that he did about our finance and stuff? Go ahead and let me know. I just
okay,
I briefly looked at it.
so basically he signed an executive order 14067. Basically, buried in this section, as it says, the language in Section 4 makes Order 14067 the most treacherous act by sitting president in the history of our republic. This is because Section 4 sets the stage for the legal government surveillance of all U.S. citizens, total control over your bank accounts and purchases, and the ability to silence all dissenting voices for good. In this new war on freedom, they aren't coming for your guns. No, they're thinking much bigger than that. They're coming for your money.
Well, that's what it is, Gray, a CBDC. That's exactly what it is. Think about everything you just said there. They can accomplish with a CBDC.
Right.
They
And
can stop you from buying what you want when you want to buy it. They can literally, the term that they use from the WEF, you will own nothing. You know that term?
of course.
That's exactly what they mean is a CBDC because you will own nothing is exactly what you will own if you have a CBDC. You won't even own your
Mm.
labor. Great. Think about this. You will not even own your labor because whatever they say your labor is worth is what it's
Mhm.
worth. Because let's say, for example, you have a CBDC and let's say that you're making 20 bucks an hour, just to throw a
Right.
number out. let's say you worked 50 hours or whatever, you made $1,000. Okay, you made $1,000 by trading your labor for whatever CBDC unit it is, and it's in your account. Well, now they can determine how much your labor is worth by telling you how much you can spend, when you can
Mhm.
spend it, how much of that is going to disappear by a certain day if you don't use it. So they're pretty much putting whatever value on those tokens that they want. They can tell you if you can buy meat this week. They can tell you how much gasoline you can buy. If you go out of a certain perimeter or radius within where you live, they can say whether you can go and buy gasoline or not at this gas station. They will own everything. You will own nothing. With a CBDC, you will own absolutely nothing. All right. And not even your labor, which is, a property right that everyone has no matter what. Even if you have absolutely nothing, you still have that property right, which is your labor, yourself. You won't even own that. That's what I think that they mean about that you will own nothing. The other part that says, and you will be happy, I think that's just, I think that was entered. Well, I think that was just entered there to mock us, for real, to
Oh,
mock
for
us, to
sure.
make fun
I
of us,
agree.
to be like, you
100%.
idiots, yeah, you idiots will own absolutely nothing. And believe it or not, some of you will be happy because some people will. You see, because this CBD system and this UBI that they're going to put with it, it's going to benefit some people, and some people it won't. It'll just be a huge transfer of wealth, but it will benefit some people, and that's why they have to get us to a stage where we are in despair as a people, as a nation. They have to, something has to happen where they have to have the upper hand, where we are actually so despair that we're asking, please help us, government. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, it's so important to be prepared so that you can be able to use that no muscle when it really matters.
It's pretty wild. I was curious about something. I was like trying to think, like, between both of our viewer base, I always wonder what do most Americans fear, this day, I mean, this day and age, is it, the some of the things that we discuss and some of the things we talk about. And I was actually a little bit surprised on some of these things. I found a list online where they did top fears of 2023 for Americans. And it was quite interesting. I wanted to share it with you.
Just a
Where are we at?
second, Gray. Don't share with me yet. I'm gonna write on a piece of paper.
Okay.
I'm gonna write what my top fear is, and let's see if it's on there. Let me write it first.
I'm very curious because I've had a discussion about one of them.
I just wrote it. I got it right here. So okay, go ahead.
All right, let's throw it up on the screen, man. Can you see that up there? Let me bring it up a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Oh my! Are these the top 10?
These are the top 10 fears of 2023 currently.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it, Gray. I have underestimated the American people, at least the ones that took this survey, because
Exactly.
this is my top fear.
You say government? Yep.
Yeah,
There you go, brother.
I would have bet you a silver dollar before I saw this list that this wouldn't have been up there. But man, that is actually a very good sign. It's a good sign for the wrong reasons. I
Mhm.
wish that we didn't have to think about government that way. But when the people can actually see who the enemy is, and you know what? I mean, I'm screwed anyways. If we ever become communist or tyrannical, I'm on the list already. So who cares? It is what it is.
We're all
You
on
know,
the list, brother.
it is what it is. But it's great that people are waking up to the fact that we, the people, we have a common enemy, and it's not one another. Our common enemies are not the ones on the left or the right, or this flavor or that flavor, or this color or that color. Our one common enemy, ladies and gentlemen, is government. It really
Exactly.
is. Just think everything about government. What does government do that it does for the people and it does well? I would really like for someone to answer, put it all in caps. What does government do that it does for the people and it does well? That's for the good of humanity. But corrupt government officials, hallelujah, that people are waking up. Economic and
60%.
financial collapse, I think that's a given. That's a given. That will happen no matter what. We could be at peace, and that will happen, because in order for a monetary system to continue, it has to continuously, not continually, but continuously grow, and that's impossible in a finite world, right? Russia using nuclear weapons. Yeah, that's a threat. U.S. becoming involved. U.S. becoming involved in another war. Like which one? Like have we been
Exactly.
stopped going to war? Let's see. Okay, the other ones are just regular one. Pollution of the drinking water. Everyone should have an RO system in their house, ladies and gentlemen. Either that or a Berkey or something that's going to guarantee you clean water. Cyber terrorism is one that should be up towards the top as well.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think that's definitely a key factor in their cyber terrorism. A lot of people take that for granted, but a lot of things are already in place. You know what I mean? Outside of, like we were talking about earlier, about the porous borders and possible sleeper cells that are already in this country, as well as cyber attacks from other countries that we've seen over the last couple of years that have basically shut down systems, pipelines, and food processing plants. So just imagine everybody, they activate these groups or organizations and like, hey, it's that time, and then they start hitting us with the cyber attacks at the same time. It'll
Are you
create
talking
such
about
massive
sleeper
chaos.
cells?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're already in the U.S.
between the
I
sleeper
mean, I
cells
mean,
and
if they're not, if we don't have any sleeper cells in the U.S., then our foes, the countries that don't like us, they have pretty stupid governments,
agreed.
because I mean, they're already here. I read an article the other day um where was it? Oh, from Cuba. There was like 16 Chinese nationals that got on a little boat from Cuba, and they got intersected in Florida. Did you hear about that?
Yes,
Great.
that was one of our local papers here locally. I saw that as well.
Was it
Did
like
you
16 or 19?
somewhere around there? Did you also see the video down at the southern border of military age Chinese males
Oh,
coming over the border?
yeah, that
It
was
was
I put that on one of my videos. Well, the big long line of of military age, not one female in there, and they
it
were
was
all
crazy,
military age males. So
wild.
yeah, I mean, we've been set up. I'm not going to get political, okay, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can trigger a few people, being that this is your channel. uh, I mean, because I have a friend that years
Oh
ago,
shit.
that years ago was like, Orange Man bad. Orange Man is going to get
Mm.
us into a nuclear war. Really? How do you think now? What do you think about Orange Man now? Look at the state of the world, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the state of the world. While Orange Man was in office, at least he was doing a peace deal, with the Eastern nations, with the Middle East.
Was
When
it
he
the
was in
Abraham
office,
Accord?
there was a peace deal with the Middle East. There was peace.
Hmm.
When he was in office, there was peace with North Korea. Why? Because he said, hey, we are big and bad, and if you mess with us, we're going to do what you don't want us to do. But however it is, deterrence is a great tool. But when Orange Man Bad was here, he was really mean with those tweets, by the way. Really mean.
Very.
But at least the world was at peace. You take a look at all of the things that's going on since after he left office. It's all gone downhill, and it's okay, because it's all been done on purpose. All of this has been planned, right? As soon as Biden took office, they already had a plan on what they were going to do. And what they were going to do is they were going to accelerate the Cloward and Piven strategy that they've been doing since the 60s, meaning overwhelming our systems. And they were going to go ahead and give our sovereignty away to a power that's not elected, like the UN, which they've done that, I believe, with the internet. With that bill that they passed, while number 44 was in office, ladies and gentlemen. So, anyways, this has all been planned for a long time, and you just better get prepared, because whether you like it or not, bad things are coming down the pipe. Maybe not tomorrow, but for you personally, maybe not tomorrow, but soon enough, it will come down the pipe, because bad things are happening right now, just maybe not to you personally, but they
we got
will.
so we got like a 10-minute wind down. One thing, I keep on seeing something in the chat in regards to commercials. I mean, do commercials play while a live stream is running live?
You have to actually, Gray, go to your bet. I didn't figure this out for like one or two live streams after after they started doing it. YouTube is starting to do that now. So you have to actually go into the background of YouTube and
Hmm.
shut it off before you start your live stream. Yeah, because
Ah, okay.
people were saying that too. I think maybe about a month and a half ago or something like that. I don't know when they started doing it, but
I
when
know
they
they up.
started doing it, I had no idea. And people were telling my community members were telling me as well. I was like, I have to look into it, and it took me
Okay.
like, it took me a couple of times to figure out how to shut it off. But
All
after
right.
we're done here, if you want, I can walk you through to the background. I'm not sure if it'll show after the live stream is over. I'm not sure if it's something that you have to do before, or if not, it's not going to show. But I can
Okay.
show you where to look for it for next time.
I appreciate that. Before we wrap up too much, I wanted to make a big announcement first. And I'm going to put this. I'm going to put it down there at the bottom as well. So, and I know Rudy, you got one too. That if you want to share that with the folks here, you guys
What's
are going to
that?
see a lot
No,
more.
no, I don't want to share anything with anyone, man.
You don't
Stop
want to
trying
share
to give away
nothing.
my secret. Stop trying to give away my secrets, all right, Gray?
So, uh, me and Rudy, of course, going to be doing these streams on both of our channels. You know, we'll be alternating our channels. But Tuesday, November 21st. Anybody on here that's lucky to be on here that's watching, or maybe someone that catches this on the replay, or if you want to share it out to friends and family. Uh, and I'll talk about this more and more and more. I'll throw it out there and in the community tab and stuff as it gets closer. But on the 21st, on a Tuesday at 6 p.m., it'll be an early start time. I have a huge Christmas giveaway, and I've taken Rudy's idea because I've been watching him over the years. I'm like, I want to do that too. Um, so I've reached out. So far, I got companies like Opus, EcoFlow, Blue Yeti, Olight, Obi, Simpure, Membrane Solutions. I think
Nice.
Alcatel sent me an email too, and Nutrient Survival, and a few others that are going to be sponsoring this, and they're going to be all donating as sponsors to this giveaway. So if you want to be a part of, I call it the Christmas giveaway. It's right before Black Friday and Thanksgiving, but the reason I said it on November 21st is because I want to make sure everybody gets what they're supposed to get before Christmas. Because I've run into that situation before, they get it after Christmas. I want everyone that I give away on that stream to get it before Christmas. Maybe someone already has a power station or something that I give away, and they want to, wrap it up and put it under the tree for, the hubby or a son, daughter, whoever, give it away to get someone into prepping. So mark that on your calendars, November 21st, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Grey's big Christmas giveaway. I know it sounds weird saying Christmas in November, but it's close enough that we can culminate all that stuff like that, and then we can get it all to you before Christmas as I work with all these sponsors. And sponsors keep on coming in. Plus, there's a lot of things I want to give away, and I might have a guest or two. I don't know. It's going to be 2 hours long. I wanted to make sure I started it early so that we have enough time to run through it and stuff like that. So, again, mark that on your calendars, folks, and share it out. Share it out. But
Yeah,
I wanted
obviously,
to.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be having a Christmas bash giveaway this December too, but it'll be the first week of December, sometime. I'm not going to tell you what day it is yet. I'm still working on Thanksgiving. I'm still
Are,
working on the turkeys, ladies and gentlemen. So,
oh, that's
yeah,
right.
we
That's
got to
right.
take
That
care
is
of the
awesome.
turkeys first. Oh no, the
Are you?
turkey's going to be done. We're making it this year.
Let me ask you a question. On your giveaway, are you giving away any silver?
Yes,
All
I'm
right. So
not.
let me.
I'm not giving away any silver, but Genesis Gold Group is.
Oh man, well, I'm gonna have to be there for that regardless, man. That you said that word that just silver. It's like I got it. It just gravitates towards me, man. And I haven't been
Yeah,
lucky in a while, man. I probably got. I know I got a 1 ounce from you and a bunch of 10th ounce coins from you, but I've been seeing you be giving bigger and bigger pieces of silver away, man.
oh yeah,
So
the silver that Genesis Gold Group gives. For those of you that don't know, Genesis Gold Group is one of my sponsors, and they give away the America the Beautiful silver coins that are the 5 ounce silver coins, and they are beautiful, man. Those things are really nice. I mean, I was like, man. When I talked to Jonathan over there, I was like, man, why don't you send me one of those, man?
right.
And he was like, I'll send you some right now. Just let me know what your address is. I'm like, no, no, I really, I'll give them away. They're really pretty to look at, but I honestly rather someone from the community get them. One of our last winners that won some silver from Genesis Gold Group, I think he's our second to last winner. He never owned any silver, and he
Wow.
ended up winning 10 ounces from them, 2 coins. I was so happy for him that he won some silver, and he never been able to buy silver because he couldn't afford it. So it's awesome, man, when we were able to give them away. So
I want to mention something. I see Hill Summit says no shipping to Australia. So in regards to that, Hill, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of these companies will not ship. But I've worked an idea that I like to give away gift cards, be it digital gift cards or physical gift cards. Because a digital gift card, I've sent a gift card to someone in Sweden before, and it got there within just a few minutes through Amazon. So just because you live somewhere
oh,
else
you can
doesn't
do
mean you
that.
can't
You can
win.
do that with
Yes,
Amazon.
Amazon, you can send as long as you have
Well,
their
then I'm going to do
email.
that this year. Then okay,
So,
then I'm
so
going to do that this year because what I'm going to do is whoever wins something that doesn't live in the U.S. If they don't live in the U.S. and they were supposed to win something, I'm just going to send them a digital Amazon gift card for like $100.
it's
You
it
know,
just it helps
yeah,
incorporate our overseas viewers. You know what I mean?
yes, and I've always felt bad about that
Hmm.
because like this year we're giving away an Opus. All right, Gray, I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans on one of the things we're giving away on our Christmas batch giveaway. But
Uh-oh.
we're giving away, ladies and gentlemen, not this one, not that one, but we're giving away an Opus Mega 3 for a Christmas batch giveaway. So so that's going to be awesome, but if somebody wins that lives outside of the United States, they won't be able to get it. And the best I'll be able to do is at least send you $100 gift card because that'll come out of my pot. But
Yeah,
still, at least somebody will walk away with something instead of nothing, and that way
agreed.
everyone can participate. That's great. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm going to keep under wraps with EcoFlow and Blue Yeti and Opus. I'm going to keep all that under wraps to the day of. You know what I mean? I want people to be excited because you just never know what some of these companies are willing to get their name out there and get the eyes on their products. And like I said, I sent a letter out to a bunch of people, and it should be fun, folks. It
Well,
should be
you know
fun.
what? It's funny. It's funny, Gray, because some people get angry at me. They're like,
Really?
"Why do you have to have a sponsor on your video and stuff like that?" But
Mm,
I'm like, man, number one, by nature, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't agree, but I am a capitalist by nature, right? There are two types of capitalism. There's one that's called capitalism, meaning that you earn your money legally, lawfully, ethically, right? And there's crony capitalism, where it means that the government allows you to get ahead instead of giving you the same shot that it gives everyone else, right? So I'm a capitalist by nature. If a sponsor wants to pay me a couple of bucks to sponsor a product that I believe in, I won't do it just for the money. It's got to be something I believe in. And then on top of that, give me products so that I can give away to my community
exactly.
members. I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it, especially if it's something I believe in. Like, for example, I believe in silver and gold, 100%. I believe in freeze dry foods for long term storage, especially if it's nutrient survival. I believe in water filtration. I believe everyone should have a solar generator or generator. All of those things that I believe in, I will promote. And I will also try to benefit my community members by getting the sponsors involved and giving me stuff that I can give away. So I mean,
Agreed.
I consider it a win-win for everyone. And but some people get upset because they like to be upset, and it is what it is. There's
You,
not
you
too much you're going to be able to do about those
Yeah,
people.
you can't make everybody happy no matter what. So I have added some other companies that will reach out to me, and like I want to work with them. And some people may not like their products. Some people may love their products. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But and it's like my wife said. She's like, what I really liked what you've done with your YouTube is, you pour your money back into the channel. I'm like, yeah, why not? She's like, I said, we have a okay living. Why not take the money that I make from YouTube, be it ad revenue or sponsorships and stuff like that, and pour it back into the channel, help out the viewers, because there's a lot of folks out there that are struggling. And if I could do something to benefit them for me doing a review and getting a free product and building a relationship
yeah,
with a
man, and it's
company,
fun. Yeah, it's
yeah,
fun, man. I
it
love
always,
doing reviews. I really
me
like
too,
doing
man.
reviews because it allows you to see something that you probably otherwise wouldn't have bought. You know,
Agreed.
yeah,
Uh,
this YouTube thing's been a big blessing, man,
I
because this
agree.
allowed me to do a lot of stuff that I normally wouldn't have been able to afford. I wouldn't have been able to afford to have 27 solar generators if it wasn't for YouTube.
Well, and one thing, I've made a really good close friend, which is you, brother. If it
Yeah, man.
wasn't for the
Same here,
YouTube,
man. Same
if it
here.
wasn't for YouTube's, man.
And
Um, go ahead. I
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
I was gonna say, and we should start closing it off on that good note.
I know, and I feel like I need to say something. I just don't want to. I don't want
It's
to.
kind of hard, it's kind of hard trying to keep it to an hour, but it's
Yeah.
kind of good that way our viewers will pretty much know that it's going to be about an hour long, and
Hmm.
so if we get carried away and make it a different length of time every time, it won't be as consistent. But it's kind of good to try to keep that structure.
Agreed.
That way everyone will know what to expect next time. And look, Gray, I'm a genius because I knew this was going to be a lot of fun. When I told you let's do this, I was like, I know this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, and I think it's a lot of fun for everyone that's watching that gets to participate. It's a lot of fun for me chit chatting it up with you and talking about current affairs, on YouTube, and
Hmm.
so absolutely. I think that our next one may have to be on another Tuesday if that's okay with you. And let me tell you why. It's funny when you said that we weren't going to. I know for a fact we're not doing it this Sunday,
Hmm.
and that it would have to be the following Sunday. But I actually have a 3-day vacation planned with my family
Hmm.
for the following, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
What,
So we
what,
can talk offline and see if we can maybe do it next Tuesday. It's up to you. We'll talk offline. If not, we'll skip a Sunday and pick it up when I get back. No big deal.
Well, I also wanted to I wanted to let everybody know that knows what's going on in my life right now, because I haven't been doing a lot of content. I want to thank everyone that wished my wife, that sent prayers to my wife's mother, and all those folks that put things down in the community tab. And I don't want to end the live stream on a negative note, and I don't want anybody to think this is negative, but I just feel the need that I need to tell you guys that she did pass away, and I wanted to thank you for all your prayers. She's in a better place. She's out of pain, and we're like I said, I'll be back to going back to normal here after this weekend as we wrap up this wonderful woman's life. So just want to let you guys know, I wanted to thank you all. My wife truly appreciates all the prayers and the sweet comments and the words that all you guys shared. We knew it was coming, and she's in God's house now. So she is back with the Father, and I want to thank all you guys for all that support. So I don't want anybody to be unhappy. It's a thing that we should be happy that she is out of pain, and she's up in heaven with the Father. So, it's a celebration that
Amen.
she's back with him. So I just want to let everybody, give you guys an update on that. And, some things, that's why we're kind of moving things around a little bit. But then once we get in the swing of things, you'll see a lot of his ugly mug and my ugly mug as well. So
Yep.
something to look forward to, folks.
Two ugly mugs.
Two
Hey,
ugly mugs.
Copernicus. I need to say something to Copernicus. I've got it ready to go. All right. These are the labels. I'm just waiting for my next trip to the post office. So I haven't even mailed it. I'm just waiting for my next trip to the post office. But I've got it done. I've got it done. Copernicus was wondering if I had shipped off her coin yet. Eventually, it will get there. It'll be a surprise, Copernicus. I promise. But you're going to get it. So, yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. And we're going to have to figure out an outro, Gray.
Yes.
We're going to have to figure out an outro.
Well, I did the intro. Maybe you do the outro.
Oh, I don't have my outro thing here. Well, I mean,
I can do the outro.
To be something different.
Yeah, because I say all I have is my normal outro.
Yeah, me too. But it's going to have to be something different. You see, we should have thought about this before and been prepared. But we weren't.
And thank you all for the kind words. I do want to ask you guys, because we did something a little different. I wanted to play around a little bit. Is the moving background too distracting for you guys, or is it kind of cool? Do you want a static background? I like to listen to you, the viewers, for feedback. I just didn't want it to detract from me and Rudy, but I thought it was kind of cool with the globe in the back and the world as we're talking about the world in itself. So I added that in there. So sing a duet. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Unfortunately, I can't sing. I don't know about you, Rudy.
Here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. It's been a very big honor that you joined us here today. Until next time, I'm Alaska Prepper. And this crazy guy right here, who are you?
They call me Gray.
And we are out.
All right,
hey, Gray, that's when you're supposed to press end.
I'm trying to.
You're supposed to press end.